So eher? Mögen Sie Schlangen? Die ist nämlich ganz harmlos. Und das ist das Problem. Keiner möchte sie. Dabei ist die ist nachtaktiv. Das heißt... Das ist nur eine Art Hologramm.
Oh Gott.
Ist eigentlich ganz harmlos.
Ja.
Trick to remove the head of the snake from the iPad. It seems really nice trick. The magician shows a snake image on the iPad screen. He puts his palm on the screen, the snake comes out of the screen to the hand of the magician. Then he put it back again. So what is the secret here? The magician put on his finger the head of a fake snake. In this way, the magician shows the head of the snake like this. It appears as if it comes out of the iPad already. The appearance weird trick. Dom Chambers, the Australian magician, proved to everyone that he had a great beard trick up his sleeve when he amazed everyone on the biggest stage of all, America's Got Talent. Here's what he did. Dom started his trick by showing everyone that the paper bag is empty. Then he produces a glass of beer from that paper bag. Thereafter he keeps on producing more glasses of beer, sometimes from the sleeve of his jacket and sometimes from behind the table, placed on stage where he performs quite a few cool tricks.
This is the appearing glass of beer trick! Lucky for you, I'm not a very good magician.
Also, to bring variety of his trick, he even produces a tiny bottle of wine from the bag and magically converts it into a bigger sized bottle.
A tiny bottle! Please, bang! Wine!
And now comes the most amazing part of the trick. He takes off his right leg shoe and tells everyone that where their coaster, there's a beer. So in this act, before producing a beer, he always reveals the coaster. Then he lifts the paper bag to find nothing inside. Then all of a sudden he brings out a glass of beer from inside that shoe.
Always bring a spare coaster. Not there.
Finally, after taking out of his jacket and doing a few tricks on that table, he takes out his shoe and then an empty glass out of that paper bag. To end this trick on a high note, he tilts the shoe and what do we see? There's beer flowing out of the shoe, which he pours inside the empty glass and finally drinks the beer to amaze everyone around. So how did he perform all those tricks? Here's the secret. The tricks involve the concept of palm and sleight of hand and whole lot of misdirection. Also, without the table placed on stage, this trick wouldn't have been possible. So this table also plays a major role in this trick. In his act, Don produces quite a few glasses of beer. Where do they come from? Yes, there's a hidden shelf behind that table and few beer glasses were concealed inside the pocket of his jacket, but still producing them at the right time involves a lot of skill. Let's first look at how he produces a glass of beer from that empty bag. For this part, the paper bag you see has a cut at its other side which he conceals from the audience. Now the cut in this bag allows his hand to easily reach near his jacket's pocket and bring out a glass of beer. Here, if you look closely, he is holding that glass of beer which he finally reveals to the audience. Similarly, for the repeat performance, he places his left hand near the right side of his jacket and pulls out a glass of beer from the pocket and then places it in the paper bag before revealing it to the audience. For the next part of the trick, Don brings out a tiny bottle of wine from that paper bag and converts it into a bigger one.
Bang! Wine!
Here he didn't bring that tiny bottle from the bag, and tiny bottle was already concealed in his right hand, first which he must have pulled out from one of his pockets. That's the reason he takes everyone's attention towards the paper bag. Now for the transformation, the bigger size bottle is inside his left side pocket. He pulls everyone's attention towards the bag and using his left hand pulls that wine bottle from that jacket and holds it behind his hand. Then suddenly he pulls out that wine bottle to create the illusion of the bottle being transformed. But now you know if the tiny bottle is still in his right hand fist as he enjoys drinking the wine. Now what about the tricks involving his shoe? Well, after taking out his shoe and revealing the coaster, there's a moment when he gets behind the table. At this moment, he pulls out a glass of beer from the shelf behind the table and puts it inside the shoe. The glass of beer is now concealed inside the shoe, which he finally brings out to amaze everyone around. Thereafter, he produces another glass of beer which was hidden and loosely attached inside the back of his jacket. As he pulls it out and reveals it from inside the sleeve while taking out the jacket.
No hidden beers, except for that one. Here we go, America!
Now the tricks he does behind the table involve sleight of hand as he pulls out each glass of beer from the table shelf and then conceals it behind the paper bag and the table before revealing it. Here he is holding a glass of beer in his left hand behind that bag, and he is also grabbing that bag with his index finger, and this is how produces the glass of beer. Now coming to the final part, how did the beer come out the shoe? Well, there was a moment when he has behind the table when he grabs the bag behind the table inside which there is a shoe and an empty glass. Now the shoe he grabs is another gimmick shoe which has compartment built into the hole of the beer. Then Don reveals his shoe and an empty glass from the paper bag and points it towards his feet. But now you know if the shoe he is holding is not his original shoe and it's a gimmick shoe which he had switched with the original one behind the table. Finally, he pours beer from the shoe into the empty glass and drinks it to end this amazing trick.